Welcome back to another episode of Reese Hollow Bushcraft. On today's episode, we're going to learn how to make my personal favorite trap, the Paiute Deadfall. So stick around and let's learn how to make this awesome trap together.
Beneath the moonlit sky, as shadows dance, a solemn pact made a risky chance. He bargained his soul for his family's shield. In darkness grasp his fate was sealed. Oh Lord, hear my plea. Keep my loved ones safe, set them free. Take my soul, spare their pain. In your light, let them remain.
So to make the Paiute Deadfall the way I do it, you're going to need a Y branch like this, straight lever stick like this, something like this to make the trigger out of. Okay, I'm going to use some jute twine, even though on this one I use paracord. You can use anything. I'm going to use jute on this one, and a trigger stick. Okay, so what I like to do is I take my Y stick first. Okay, I like to round the top off of each one of these, just so I can keep it in my bag, keep it on me. You know, if you're gonna make something, might as well put a little pride into it. Like so. I go ahead, I give the bottom just a little carving too, just to clean it up. Okay, so as you can see, I just rounded the tops off just for appearance, and the bottom. Okay, now with this, your lever stick, I like to find a good balance. Okay, that looks pretty good right there. Again, you don't have to do this, but I'm showing you how I make mine. Where I pinch it off, where I mark it, I'm going to carve out the sides just so it sits in there and rolls a little better. Okay, just a little bit, just so that sits in there like so. And I also round my edges off. Okay, we got our ends nice and cleaned up. Now just delimit a little bit, get some of them bulbous branches off there. Okay, now we got that cleaned up. This we don't need to resize yet. We'll just keep this how it is. Okay, so we already have our lever stick made. Now the trigger that we're going to attach, how we make this trigger right here, you could use this regular stick, but again, we're learning the way I make them. Take a round piece of wood like this, okay, about so big, and I'll just go ahead and I'll take this right here, use this for a mallet if I have to, split it down, like so. See that? Okay. Then I'll just do the same thing to the other side of that. So now we have a piece like this. Okay. I like to clean up a little bit on my edges. There. Right there. You can save these for other traps. Just that. So now you have a trigger piece like so. Okay? Now, on your Y piece right here, on your back where the trap's gonna, or your trigger's gonna set, like this, I like to mark it out and then carve it out. So I'll line it up perfectly flat, parallel with this. I'll put a mark right here. Put a mark down here, right below it. Now that I have it marked out, I'll take my saw and I'll just cut on my lines. Not very far in there, just a little bit. That should be fine there. And that should be fine. So all I did was I cut down in like so. I'll just take my knife, go down into one of your cuts, and pull up like that, and it should break right out of there. Cut this one deep enough here. Okay, now you'll have a piece cut out like so. I like to go ahead and just clean it up a little bit. Less stuff that gets hung up in your traps, the better. Okay, take my trigger again, make sure it fits in there nice and loose. You don't want it tight, okay? Now we're basically done with this trap. We'll take some of this jute out here. Now, on your trigger, I like to carve out just a little groove, just for your cordage to sit. Tie whatever cordage you have onto your trigger stick. Okay, now we have that nice and secure. Go ahead and measure this out. Okay, this, our lever stick, is here. Wrap it around it so it's there. Now, towards my base here, I also like to carve in a groove for that. Now, once you have your trigger tied on like this, and you have it tied to the back of your lever, okay, that's all we did, is we tied this trigger to the back of the lever, okay? So now we have our Y piece with this cut out in the back. We have our lever piece, trigger in the back, okay? This is gonna be the bait stick. Now you can either tie a string from it, which I'll do just to show you, and have your bait tied to the string, okay? Or you can just split it down the middle and just place your bait in there, which some do. I'll represent the bait with a piece of wood. Okay, we'll pretend that's bait. So now we pretty much built the Paiute Deadfall. Again, Y stick for our base with our little cutout. Just a stick, just a lever, right? With your trigger tied to the back, like so. And our bait stick, which is this a twig? It's not really that straight. I mean, the straighter the better, but just to show you, it doesn't have to be. Got just a regular stick, snapped off in the back, and carved with a little tiny point in the front. Now, we're ready to set up the trap. Now, I like to put a piece of rock behind it or a piece of wood or something just to keep it more stable from rocking side to side, because these could be setting up for days, right? You don't want the wind to knock it down. So what I do is I take my base with that cutout facing away from the trap, okay? Here's the cutout on this back side right here. I take my lever stick with the trigger in the back, okay? Now here we're gonna lift up and get the rock situated onto your lever stick, okay? Put this in a little bit here. Okay. Lock it in. Now you should be able to control the weight with the back of your lever stick, like so, okay? Now let me get this to balance here. Take your trigger, wrap it around your base till it goes into that groove. I like to put it underneath your string. Lift up a little bit on your stick. Now, holding on to the trigger still. You're gonna be holding on to this trigger. Do not let go, because it will unset. We're gonna take our bait stick, okay? Put the base away from the bait on the trigger. You're gonna feel underneath. You're gonna feel it get tight when you start releasing some pressure off of right here, okay? That's pushing this bait stick into this rock. Okay, see how we're set up here? So now we're set. Now the trap is set, it can stay for days, okay? So check it often. But if anything comes through here and takes that bait, it'll release this and you're gonna have yourself some food. Now, you're gonna have to set up many of these, okay? This is a pretty simple setup once you get used to it. You could do a lot of these a day. So now that you learned how to make this version of the Paiute Deadfall, get out there, give it a try, and you'll be amazed how soon you can get this.